My name is Kaylee. I will be interviewing you for the Masons Veterans Project. Could you please say your name, your rank, and a little bit about your work in the military?
My name is Stephen Braxton. I was FC-1 Surface Warfare qualified in the United States Navy.
Awesome. So why did you join the service?
The small town I grew up in, there wasn't a lot of opportunity, and I didn't have the grades in high school to get any college scholarship, and my parents didn't have the money to send me to school, so I chose the military as a way of creating a life for myself, or a career.
Did you join with your friends or
No,
no, just yourself?
no.
Awesome. Can you describe the work you did while you're in the active?
I was a fire control technician, which is a weapon systems technician, electronics and mechanical equipment. I know fire control means to most people that I put out fires, but it has nothing to do. It's about shooting weapons or missiles. And the weapon system I worked on was the Fang-Links close-in weapon system, which was a 6-barrel Gatling gun that shoots 4,500 rounds a minute, has its own search and track radar built in.
So what would you say your life was on the ship? Was it any different? Was it weird being on a ship? Did it feel any different?
It's humans are creatures of habit. You create a habit, you create a situation, and you learn to live with it. So yes, it's weird at first, but then it becomes the norm.
Yeah.
You take anybody from what they currently live now and throw them in that situation, and the very first few months is going to be very hectic and may even be scary for some people.
Yeah. Do you have any memorable stories?
The one I'd like to talk about is we were getting ready to come home from our deployment. We were in the Mediterranean for 6 months, and that's how long a deployment typically lasted back in the 80s. And it was 89 going into 90, and we were on our way out of the Mediterranean. We were going to switch off with the Kennedy battle group, and I was on the Eisenhower at the time. And we were supposed to be heading out of the Mediterranean back toward the United States. So we were headed back east toward the Suez, and the captain came on the loudspeaker and basically told us what was happening, that Saddam Hussein was threatening to invade Kuwait, and we were going to go through the Suez as a battle group and basically be a show of force to keep him from doing that. And at that point, the other ships in the battle group, well, one of them in particular, the USS Scott, their weapon system that I worked on my ship, theirs didn't work the whole time they were deployed. So they asked for a tech assist or for help. And I got volunteered to go over to the Scott. So basically flew off the Eisenhower on a helicopter and landed on the Scott and worked, I think it was close to 3 days straight, no sleep.
Wow.
Trying to get their systems up and running, and we finally did. Both their close-in weapon systems, are what I worked on, were down for the majority of their deployment, and I got them up. I helped them load the weapons, and I got to get back to they put me down in the berthing for sleeping. I think I slept 2 days, and then they finally woke me up and said, "All right, you're going back to the Ike." But I did fix their weapon system. And Brianna says she had a picture of this, but all I got out of that whole thing was this note from the Admiral basically saying thanks. So all these medals none of it was for doing over and above my job to help these people. And that's all I got, was just a simple note. But I kept it. It's a nice little memento.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a lot of hard work to fix their weapon system to make them run.
Do you have any pictures that you would like to talk about with us?
Well, like I said, I thought at the time we were the first nuclear carrier through the Suez Canal, but we were not. Eisenhower going through the Suez.
That's your boat?
Yeah,
That's huge.
It's 1,150 feet long, or 1,190 feet long. Yeah.
Wow.
Over
That's just one of them.
Yeah, there were 6,000 people on that ship deployed.
Wow.
That's more than my hometown. My hometown only had 3,000.
And you guys all lived?
In that ship, on that ship. It was a
Wow.
floating city. It doesn't look like it's floating there. I like that picture because it looks like it's stuck in the sand.
Yeah,
But that's pretty neat.
that's awesome.
And because it was the Gulf War, we were featured in the All Hands magazine, and I kept this for, I don't know, how many years is that now? I don't even have a date on this thing, but it shows in here the chronological order of Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and it shows here August 7th of 1990, the Eisenhower Battle Group transits the Suez Canal. That was us. And I was actually, when we were transiting the Suez, is when I was fixing the USS Scott.
Is there anything you want to add to your story before we end this interview?
No, I think we got everything covered.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.